Let's begin with the biggest news of the day. The chief of the Russian Wagner mercenary group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has reportedly been killed in a plane crash north of Moscow. The private jet was en route from Moscow to St. Petersburg. It was carrying 7 passengers and 3 crew members. All of them have been killed. Prigozhin was a self-declared enemy of the Russian Defense Ministry. He had led an armed mutiny against the Russian army's top brass, which failed. Meanwhile, tributes poured in for the slain Wagner chief in Russia's St. Petersburg. Wagner members said they are at a loss for words after Prigozhin's death. They said that they are waiting for further orders from other Wagner commanders. Some of his supporters are pointing fingers at Russia. Others say Ukraine might be involved in the incident. Ukraine has shared a video that shows Russia's long-range anti-aircraft missile system being destroyed over Crimea. Ukraine's defense ministry published the video on YouTube. The attack happened in the town of Olenivka. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met 3 U.S. senators who are visiting Kyiv. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham and Democrats Elizabeth Warren and Richard Blumenthal pledged more support to Ukraine. The 3 senators also heard an air raid alarm and had to take cover in a parking lot. The first U.S. Republican presidential nomination debate took place yesterday. It comes in the run-up to the 2024 presidential election. 8 Republican candidates participated in the heated debate that was broadcast live. This included Vivek Ramaswamy, Mike Pence, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Doug Burgum, Chris Christie, and Asa Hutchinson. Former U.S. President Donald Trump did not attend the debate, saying that Americans already know who he is. Meanwhile, Trump's ex-lawyer Rudy Giuliani surrendered at a jail in Atlanta, Georgia yesterday. He faces charges of trying to overturn the 2020 U.S. presidential election result. Giuliani is a former federal prosecutor and New York City mayor. He was ordered to pay a $150,000 bond. He was also asked not to intimidate any of his 18 co-defendants or witnesses in the case. Giuliani told reporters that his indictment is a travesty and an assault on the U.S. Constitution. North Korea's second attempt to place a spy satellite in orbit has failed. This happened after the rocket booster experienced a problem during the 3rd stage of its launch. Pyongyang's first attempt to launch a spy satellite was in May, and that also ended in failure. The nuclear-armed country is still trying to place its first military spy satellite in orbit. North Korea plans to launch a fleet of satellites to monitor the activities of U.S. and South Korean troops. Meanwhile, U.S. and South Korean troops held training exercises as part of the annual Ulchi Freedom Shield drills. The exercise is designed to improve their response to North Korea's missile or nuclear threats. It also aims to improve practical combat skills. South Korea's military has said that this year's exercise is being held at the largest scale ever. It is day 3 of the Brics summit in South Africa's Johannesburg. A deal to expand the Brics group is stuck in 11th hour negotiations. The debate over expanding the group is dominating the agenda at the summit this time around. The leaders of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa have all publicly expressed their support for the expansion of the group. India's Chandrayaan-3 has sent images from the moon. These images were captured during its historic soft landing on the lunar surface. The pictures were captured by the lander horizontal velocity camera. India is the only country which has successfully landed its spacecraft near the moon's south pole. The southern African nation of Zimbabwe is holding elections. The country has extended voting in some wards by a day. This comes after voting got affected due to the late distribution of ballot papers. In other parts of Zimbabwe, electoral staff has begun counting votes. climate news, Japan's Tokyo Electric Power, or TEPCO, has said it will release water from the Fukushima nuclear plant starting today. However, it added that the operations will be immediately halted if any issues are detected. The treated radioactive water will be released into the Pacific Ocean. The move has drawn criticism from China and South Korea. Meanwhile, dozens of Japanese protesters gathered outside the TEPCO office to protest the water release. The demonstration lasted about an hour. They demanded that TEPCO continue to store the waters in tanks instead of releasing it into the Pacific Ocean. Tropical storm Franklin unleashed heavy floods and landslides in the Caribbean nation of the Dominican Republic yesterday. It has killed at least one person, while two are still missing. The storm began to slowly move away after dumping heavy rain for several hours. An apartment building was left on the edge of a landslide in the South American nation of Chile. This was after heavy rains hit the region overnight. 25 people residing in the building were evacuated yesterday. Authorities have reported no fatalities or injuries. Fierce wildfires have been spreading in the South American nations of Bolivia and Peru. The flames have claimed the lives of at least 5 people. Reports say that at least 200 hectares have been consumed by the fire. The residents of Lahaina are confronting the aftermath of the deadly wildfires in the U.S. island of Maui in Hawaii. They are trying to rebuild their homes, which were reduced to ruins due to the Hawaii blaze. The survivors are still weighing the economic impact of the fires. One of the main concerns is the future affordability of returning to Lahaina. This is particularly for those who face financial hardships after losing everything to the flames. France was on a heatwave red alert yesterday. Temperatures in some parts of the country reached 41 degrees Celsius. France's weather service has said the exceptional heatwave is expected to last until the end of this week. In Italy, tourists enjoyed cooling off in the waters of Lake Como. This is due to the scorching temperatures brought by the recent heat wave. Italy has issued weather alerts. The health ministry has warned that the heat could impact people's health. 6 young people from Portugal are taking 32 European countries to court. This is over the government's alleged inaction to tackle climate change. The activists say the government had a poor response to the deadly wildfires that ravaged Portugal in 2017. They hope their legal battle will inspire others to demand environmental justice across the world. On to business and tech news. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has implemented a number of new rules for the private equity and hedge fund industry. These are aimed at increasing transparency, fairness, and accountability. The U.S. market regulators' new rules require private funds to issue reports on their quarterly fees and performance. The companies will also need to perform annual audits. The volume of Germany's investment guarantees to companies investing in China has gone down this year. This is according to reports. So far this year, only $56 million have been issued in guarantees. This is less than a tenth of what was issued over the whole of last year. Reports say this highlights Berlin's efforts to decrease its reliance on China. Australia is facing decades of slower growth as its population ages. It will pressure the country's budget and increase its national debt. This is according to the Australian government's latest intergenerational report. Australia's Treasurer Jim Chalmers projected future economic trends. He said digital technology, climate change, and the need for more aged care will shape the economy over the next 40 years. Workspace provider WeWork is tapping advisors for restructuring advice. This comes as the company struggles with a heavy debt load and poor financial performance. The company is seeking to avoid a bankruptcy filing and restructure its debt out of court. E-cigarette maker Juul Labs has announced a company restructuring. This is to maximize profitability and generate cash flows. The company said it will substantially reduce its headcount. It did not announce by how much. However, reports say it's planning to lay off 30% of its workforce. US automaker General Motors will cut 940 information technology jobs. This will affect its employees in the US state of Arizona. The company also plans to cease its operations in the state. Starting this month, the European Union's Digital Services Act will impose new rules on big technology companies. This includes Meta's Facebook and Instagram, video app TikTok, and also some of Google's services. These rules cover content moderation, user privacy, and transparency. A Kenyan court has given Meta Platforms 21 days to resolve a dispute with content moderators. The court has asked the two parties to resolve the issue out of court. The Kenyan content moderators are suing Meta and two of its subcontractors. This is after they allegedly lost their jobs for organizing a union. According to reports, TikTok is planning to ban external e-commerce links on its platform. This includes links to sites like Amazon. The move is to boost the use of the TikTok shop. Users will only be able to purchase items promoted by creators through the TikTok shop. The TikTok shop is the video platform's e-commerce vertical. YouTube is testing a new feature to identify songs. The feature is called Search by Song. This will allow users to figure out a song on YouTube by humming, singing, or recording it. If rolled out, it will compete with Apple Music's recognition app, Shazam. Moving to sports, in cricket, the third T20 international match between India and Ireland in Dublin was called off. This was due to rain that lasted for over 3 hours. Despite the third match being a washout, India had already won the three-match series 2-0. The men in blue will next play in the Asia Cup, which starts next week. England's former wicketkeeper James Foster has joined New Zealand's World Cup staff. Foster has been roped in as an assistant coach. This comes ahead of the Cricket World Cup in India, which starts in October. Before that, Foster will also help guide the Black Caps for a one-day series against England. In football, Spain's Jenny Hermoso has called for measures to be taken against Spanish football chief Luis Rubiales. A union representing her said Rubiales' actions shouldn't go unpunished. Hermoso said that the union would defend her interests in the matter. The football chief had kissed Hermoso during post-match celebrations at the FIFA Women's World Cup. His gesture was widely criticized, and Spanish government ministers have urged him to resign. Meanwhile, the U.S. soccer team's captain Megan Rapinoe spoke on the Spanish football chief's kissing controversy. Rapinoe called out the misogyny and sexism in Spanish football. She said in an interview, and I quote, "On the biggest stage where you should be celebrating, Jenny has to be physically assaulted by this guy." Rapinoe has retired from the U.S. soccer team after the FIFA Women's World Cup. Chelsea, Inter Milan and Monaco are eyeing Arsenal striker Folarin Balogun. The clubs have inquired about signing the 22-year-old. Balogun has not been included on Arsenal's main squad this season. He has made just 2 Premier League appearances in total for Arsenal after joining the club in 2020. Last season, the American striker was on loan from Arsenal to French club Stade de Reims. Gonzalo Montiel from Sevilla has joined the English side Nottingham Forest. Forest have signed Montiel on a season-long loan with an option to buy him based on his performance. The deal is reportedly worth over $11 million. In tennis, America's John Isner has said he will retire after the upcoming US Open. Isner took to social media to make the announcement. The 38-year-old has won 16 singles titles in his career. Isner had emerged victorious in the longest pro tennis match in history. It lasted for over 11 hours and was played over 3 days at Wimbledon 2010. In athletics, Britain's Josh Kerr won gold in the men's 1,500 meters race at the World Athletics Championships. At the 200-meter mark, Kerr took the lead and overtook Jakob Ingebrigtsen of Norway. The Briton clocked a time of 3 minutes and 29 seconds to bag the medal. Meanwhile, Marilady Paulinho of the Dominican Republic also won at the World Athletics Championships. She won gold in the women's 400-meter race. Paulinho clocked a time of 48.76 seconds to secure the top spot. The 26-year-old is the first Dominican woman to win a world title. In chess, the second game between India's R. Pragnanantha and Norway's Magnus Carlsen at the FIDE World Cup final took place yesterday. Both of them settled for a draw again. The match ended in a stalemate after 35 moves. The final round will be held today, where the winner will be decided. If Pragnanantha wins, he will be the first Indian in over 2 decades to win the title. In the world of entertainment, the popular sitcom Frasier is back. The show is being revived after a gap of 19 years. Kelsey Grammer returns to play the lead character called Frasier Crane. The reboot is set to debut on the 12th of October. The sitcom is an American television series about a psychiatrist named Frasier. It showcases Frasier's life after he returns to his hometown to become a radio show host. The sitcom originally aired from 1993 to 2004. A court has ordered actor Halle Berry to pay child support to her partner Olivia Martinez following their divorce. Berry will have to pay $8,000 each month as alimony. She will also have to give her ex-husband about 4% of any income that she receives above $2 million. Berry and Martinez got divorced this year after being married for 10 years. Actor Kevin Hart was seen in a wheelchair after he tore muscles in his abdomen. The incident happened when Hart challenged an athlete from the US National Football League or NFL to a race. The Jumanji actor said that the injury has made even walking painful. Talking to his fans on Instagram, 44-year-old Hart said, and I quote, "Respect your age, guys." American rapper Polo G was arrested from his home in Los Angeles yesterday. Police officials raided the rapper's home with a search warrant. This was over suspicions that he was involved in a robbery attempt. A tip about the robbery had been called in anonymously. Polo G's attorney says police officials are denying them access to the rapper. Pop superstar Madonna has asked Britney Spears to join her for her upcoming Celebration tour. The invite comes just days after Spears announced that she and her partner Sam Asghari were separating. According to reports, Madonna wants to share the stage with Spears in London in October. The Celebration tour is slated to begin on the 14th of October. A fan used artificial intelligence to generate the voice of singer and actor Selena Gomez. AI was used to make Gomez's voice sing the lyrics of the song Starboy, originally sung by The Weeknd. The cover of the song Starboy in the voice of Gomez went viral within a few hours. After listening to the AI-generated song herself, Gomez called it scary. Singer Ariana Grande has parted ways with her manager Scooter Braun. This comes just days after singer Demi Lovato also split ways with Braun. No explanation has been given for the decision. Scooter Braun is one of the world's most successful music managers. His remaining clients include Justin Bieber, David Guetta, the Black Eyed Peas, and Carly Rae Jepsen. Singer Lizzo plans to counter-sue the backup dancers who have accused her of harassment in a lawsuit. Lizzo said that she is the target of malicious prosecution. This comes after recent photos that seem to show the backup dancers partying with topless dancers. Lizzo's attorney says that the photos contradict the dancers' claims. They had said they were pressured into attending the show involving the topless dancers. Rapper Cardi B has threatened to sue a user of the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter. This comes after the user claimed that Cardi B's husband Offset was cheating on her. The user also tweeted a video with a fake voice memo claiming Offset was trying to sneak off to have an affair. Famous rock band The Rolling Stones have hinted at a return. The band appeared to have revealed the title of a new album. This was in an advertisement in a local British newspaper. The advertisement also referred to several of the band's most well-known songs. The band are yet to confirm any new album officially. The Rolling Stones are best known for songs like Painted Black, Angie, and Wild Horses.